Hi all, John here for a Wednesday, and it's time for the midweek medium. So this week we can have a look at coloured pencils. Now I would imagine that in the past, in the very distant past in my case, most of you, your very first foray into art was coloured pencils, or indeed that powdered watercolour stuff that we used to use at school. It wasn't oil pastels in my case. I never knew what an oil pastel was until probably 10 years ago. However, let's have a look at these coloured pencils. When I was at school we had a tin called Cumberland, and I'm assuming they were Derwent, and I seem to remember they were very nice and they had like this mountain range on the tin. I can't remember what the pencils were like, but I do remember enjoying using them, so that was good. So what's the score with coloured pencils? Well, in all honesty, it's such a vast ocean of pencils. You can start at the very cheap end. We can start with something like this, if we really wanted to. And it's just a very cheap packet of Pentel pencils. Now I haven't used them. I've done a little jot with them, and in fact they're not too bad, I don't think. So that's on a very, very cheap scale, and you can work your way up. We can go to this tin of Staedtlers. Now each one of these pencils that I'm about to show you I will review at some point, but we can go for these tin of Staedtlers. There's 36 in there. I don't know what they're like either, but in time I will show you. On the mid-range of things, you've got things like these. These are the Artex pencils. Now I haven't used them to do a picture as yet, but they're very good, and you won't go wrong with them, and they're quite inexpensive for what you get. I'm also told that the Amazon pencils are really very good. I will be buying a set of them and I'll review them as well, but they are even cheaper. As we start working up the scale, we can go for things like small tins of Prismacolor and Caran d'Ache. Now they are going to cost you a lot of money for just 12 pencils. However, you are getting quality, but you're soon going to want to move away from them because you're going to want more of these. That's no doubt about that. I mean, this pencil tin in its day when it was bought was £20. So, you know, you're talking a lot of money for Caran d'Ache. Prismacolor, they are cheaper. If I was to compare them to all the other pencils I have, I would say they were mid to higher range. I wouldn't say they were the best, but I'd say they were very good. And in fact, Prismacolor are probably the actual best you can use with oil pastels. Then recently I bought these. These are tins of Spectrum Noir. Now, I said in the previous video, I'm not really sure what Spectrum Noir are all about, or whether they even exist. I think there's something to do with Crafter's Companion, and I use Graphitint pencils from them because they're very good. These, when they were made, came in 5 sets. I've actually got 4. There's a nature set, there's an ocean set full of blues probably, and there's a floral set, primaries they call it. Oh, and that's the floral set. So there's primaries, florals, ocean and nature. And you get 24 in each one of them, and they look very nice. I can't wait to have a go with them, if I'm being honest, but like everything, it's getting round to it, isn't it? So as you go up the scale, you can then look to invest in bigger tins. Now this is a Prismacolor. In the UK we don't know too much about Prismacolor because they're not really readily available, but they're more of an American thing, I think. But Prismacolor are very good and they're very soft, and they are excellent if you want to use them with oil pastels. Personally, I don't use pencils with oil pastels. To me, it's kind of a bit of a cheat. And there's no need, really. Only on the very, very odd occasion would I use a pencil. But if I was to use a pencil, it would be the Prismacolor. So we have the British company called Derwent. Now, this is the artist set, and that's a 72 set. I believe there's probably 120 or 140 in the full set. Artist pencils were the very first ones I ever used, and they are very hard. And at the time, I didn't really know what I was doing with them. But I progressed, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. I'd like to take a minute just to remind you that I now have channel memberships. Would you have ever believed it? It's fantastic. I just can't believe I've reached this level, and it's all thanks to you. The memberships are 3 levels. In the first level you get custom emojis, you get a loyalty badge for the amount of time you've been a channel member. You also get credits at the end of every video that I do, so you'll be able to see your name in lights, so that'll be fantastic, and I really enjoy that part, if I'm being honest. And there's other things, I think. Now channel level 2 is all them things plus a little bit more, members only videos, things like that. And level 3 is members only live streams and an even bigger discount on pictures if you ever wanted one. Yeah, it's all got a little bit of something for everybody, and as I go on and as I get bigger, hopefully there'll be more perks come along. They start very cheaply at $1.99, and the highest is only $17.99, which I think for what I'm hopefully going to give you is not bad. I'm hoping anyway. You'll be an amazing artist, a cool amazing artist, or a super amazing artist, and that's the level names. But above all, please subscribe to the channel. I'm almost at my 4,000 watch hours and being monetized by adverts, so it's all thanks to you. Yes, I can tell you things, but if you didn't watch, I wouldn't be here today. So thank you so much. Please look at the channel memberships. Please look at the super thanks, super chats, super stickers. These are things that you can get and have your name in lights, which would be fantastic. And it helps this channel to grow, and hopefully I can get to a point where there's bigger and better things coming along, better equipment. My editing skills are very limited, and hopefully I can add to that, and yeah, I'm going to use it to support the channel. Anyway, thanks for that, and let's get back to the video. I have several other pencils in between that range, and one of the better ones, I believe, at some point I will use them. It's been a long while since I've used coloured pencils. They are very addictive, very, very addictive in fact, and once you've used them you want to keep using them all of the time. It's a bit like that scenario, if you have a tattoo you just want another one and another one. They're very good, and they're more of a waxy pencil. And then we have one of the creme de la cremes. Now, I haven't used Caran d'Ache pencils as yet. I have that small set, which I will be using, but they have different variations. But this is the pencil I have used in general, the Faber-Castell Polychromos. This box isn't open, so I can't really show you what's inside. But what I have here is how I divide my pencils up. They're a bit scruffy at the moment because, like I say, I haven't used them for quite a long time. But I divide them up into colour groups, and in here I've got some of the first 24 artist ones that I use, possibly a few other different ones, not many, but mainly in the main the Polychromos, and things like pencil extenders, anything that I might need, a blender pen, not that I use that, anything. Oh, there's even a pencil in there. Blenders, also. There's blenders. This is a burnisher from Derwent, and there is a blender pencil in here somewhere. It's the same as that, but not so hard. So that's my set of them. Of course, when you talk about pencils, you can talk about a vast array of coloured pencils. You can even fit watercolour pencils and graphite pencils into this. They're all coloured pencils, but they're all slightly different. Now, what we have some oil-based coloured pencils and we have some wax-based coloured pencils, and they react differently. Some are hard, some are soft, some feel waxy, some feel dry, and you just have to experiment as you go along. Pick up 1 or 2 pencils of each and have a go. But on the whole, coloured pencil experience is fantastic. It is timely though. It takes a long time to render a coloured pencil. Throughout this video I've been showing you a few pictures that I've done in coloured pencil, and progressively they get better, but you have to find out which pencil suits you. You have to find out which paper suits you more than anything. The paper for coloured pencils is, I wouldn't say difficult to find, but it takes a bit of time to find the one that's best for you. And sometimes the one that's best for you is quite a surprise. I mean, the owl that I've shown you was done on a big Daler Rowney cartridge paper, and I was actually really pleased with how that turned out. Within the world of coloured pencils, you also have committees and groups and associations. The one here in the UK is the UK CPS, Coloured Pencil Society. I was a member for a while, and you also have a Coloured Pencil Society in America. You have books that are on coloured pencils, and Kellberg is one of them, which I'll get to in a second. What the Coloured Pencil Pie Bible by Aliona Nicholson is well worth a read. And the look of coloured pencils that you can get varies immensely. You can get very loose, sketchy coloured pencils, but then you can get coloured pencils that are almost looking like photographs. They are rendered to such a high perfection that they do look like a photograph a lot of the time. Now, I would consider mine, you can see they're coloured pencils, but they're not photographic. But they're pushing up towards that way, and that's how I like it. I like a realistic look, but you also still know it's a painting. So that's what I go for. To push it beyond them limits, you have to use all sorts of materials and tools, and it takes a lot of time and practice. Now, in future videos I'm going to show you some techniques with coloured pencils. I did progress quite quickly with coloured pencils, and I did end up in Ann Kellberg's magazine, the Coloured Pencil magazine in America. I gave an article on how I thought that coloured pencils and sport were kind of similar, and I would know that because I was quite a top level sportsman and hopefully a good artist. I also was in the Coloured Pencil Hidden Treasures book by Ann Kellberg twice or 3 times, I'm trying to remember, I think, but definitely twice anyway. And I'll show you them pictures, and I'll also tell you what they were rendered on, because that's another thing with coloured pencils. You can render them on various types of material. Some of my best coloured pencils, or when I say best, I mean quite exciting to do, quite interesting, and probably fastest, if I'm being honest, was done on wood. Some of them were done on wood chairs, or wooden farmhouse chairs. That was quite exciting. I even done a big rocking chair once, and I'll show you the owl that I put on the rocking chair, and up the top of the rocking chair on the backrests I put a ladybird and a bee on a flower. That was fantastic. I sold that a while back. But I have a couple of coloured pencils in America. I have a couple of coloured pencils elsewhere. Nancy Lamond bought the owl that I'm about to show you. And Tony Koalis bought the one that was in the Coloured Pencil Society book, Hidden Treasures, and that was the Swan, so they're really pleased with them. So in future videos I'm going to show you some techniques. That's a quick overview, really quick overview of coloured pencils and how they lay within the foundation of the art world. So I hope that's quite interesting. Pick up a cheap set of coloured pencils and just have a go. You'll want to progress, I guarantee it. Very soothing, very calming, and very, very satisfying. So until next time, please have a great day, great week and a great year, and be kind to everyone, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.